A list of more than 100 servicemen who zero in on their own fellow soldiers in the Russian army has been published by Verstka in the card index of the edition 101 people. The list includes commanders of units of the Russian armed forces, as well as perpetrators of massacres. Among them, at least 5 have been awarded the title of Hero of Russia. We call commanders and military officers who practice such executions nullifiers. These are not only killings in the literal sense, shootings or torture to death, but also death orders being sent into a meat assault without weapons, support, or equipment, writes Verstka. The publication notes that at least 150 military personnel are known to have been charged with murder, but the real numbers are much higher. Verstka's interlocutors claim a total of about 12,000 complaints have been filed with the main military prosecutor's office since the start of the full-scale war, which were related to extrajudicial killings of military personnel. The number of these complaints began to grow in the second half of 2023. The vast majority of appeals went unanswered. According to the publication, the Military Prosecutor's Office has an unspoken ban on complaints against field commanders, and criminal cases are initiated in isolated cases. Only 10 criminal cases and 5 convicted nullifiers are known, Verstka notes. Recall, Russian military personnel have been reporting summary executions since the first year of their invasion of Ukraine. Back then, soldiers were shot on the spot for refusing to storm a fortress or for drinking in the trenches. By 2025, executions and torture in the army had become more sophisticated, increasingly driven by personal feuds between soldiers and commanders and refusal to pay quitrent to their superiors. One could try to abandon the suicidal assault, but in that case, according to the military, death would occur in one's own trenches. For example, mobilized Alexei talks about the 2nd Motorized Rifle Battalion of the 7th Brigade. One of the commanders in this unit goes by the call sign Sumrak. He had a specially trained person for zeroing out, the soldier says. When the assault began, he was supposed to raise 10 men and send them forward, on command. Those who refused, well, seeing everything that's going on there, you won't really reach these positions because you'll just be blown away by drones. That's why they refuse. Sumrak's subordinate shot them point blank with an automatic rifle. Then the body was simply taken. Since the Seversky Donets River was nearby, they were simply thrown into the river wearing a bulletproof vest so they wouldn't float, or they were buried somewhere. That's the simplest of zeroing out.
US President Donald Trump on Wednesday described Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as tough as hell, during a speech in which he said he used the prospect of US tariffs to make India and Pakistan stop fighting earlier this year. According to Associated Press, speaking at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit on Wednesday, Trump claimed, "I said I was going to put 250% tariffs on each country, which means that you'll never do business." He continued, "And they understood that. And within 48 hours we had no war, no people killed. It makes me feel so good." On Modi, Trump said, "Prime Minister Modi is the nicest looking guy." But continued, "He's a killer, he's tough as hell." And he called his Pakistan counterpart Shehbaz Sharif a great guy.
But, again, going back to the wars, it's so important. If you look at India and Pakistan, so I'm doing a trade deal with India, and I have great respect and love. As you know, for Prime Minister Modi, we have a great relationship. Likewise, the Prime Minister of Pakistan is a great guy, and the Field Marshal, they have a Field Marshal. You know why he's a Field Marshal? He's a great fighter. He really is. He's a great guy, too. And so I know them all. And I'm reading that 7 planes were shot down. They're going at it, and they're really starting to go at it. And it's a big thing. These are 2 nuclear nations. And they're really going at it. And I called Prime Minister Modi. I said, we can't make a trade deal with you. No, we must make a trade deal. I said, no, we can't. You're starting a war with Pakistan. We're not going to do it. And then I called Pakistan. I said, we're not going to do trade with you because you're fighting with India. And, you know, two nuclear nations. And they said, no, you should let us fight. They both said that. You know, they're warring. They're strong people, I'll tell you what. Prime Minister Modi is the nicest looking guy. He says, and he looks like you'd like to have your father, like, he's a killer. He's tough as hell. No, we will fight. I said, whoa, this is the same man that I know. But after a little while, and they're good people, and after literally 2 days, they called up and they said, we understand, and they stopped fighting. How is that? Isn't that amazing? Now, you think Biden would have done that? I don't think so. Most people wouldn't have thought of it, but, you know, they wouldn't have thought of it. No, but here we are, we're doing deals. So you add an extra sentence, and you say you have to stop shooting at each other. 7 planes were shot down. You have to stop the war. And they stopped the war. And if it weren't for the tariffs, I said I was going to put 250% tariffs on each country, which means that you'll never do business. In other words, there's nothing you can sell for 250%. That means, that's a nice way of saying we don't want to do business with you. You don't have to say that, because that's a nasty, we don't want to do business. No. You say, we're going to put 250% tariffs if you don't stop the war. And they understood that, and within 48 hours, we had no war, no people killed. I mean, it's makes me feel so good. It's we saved millions and millions of lives.
We have the shutdown caused by the Democrats, and at some point they'll get they'll come back. I think they're getting just killed right now, but all they have to do is say, let's get back to business, and we're back. There's nothing to sign. There's nothing to negotiate. Well, I have, because I've never seen numbers like that. I saw it a little while ago, 195-mile-an-hour wind. I've never seen that before. I've never seen, I guess it can get that high, but I've never seen it. And it's literally just, you know, knocking down everything in front of it. Well, we have to. On a humanitarian basis, we have to. So we're watching it closely, and we're prepared to move. But you know, it's doing tremendous damage. It's, as we speak, it's right there right now. So we're going to get it done. The Democrats have caused the problem on food stamps. They've caused, all they have to do is sign. And, you know, if they sign, I'll meet with them. They're all saying, well, they actually said Trump is doing an amazing job in this trip. This trip will bring back trillions of dollars, so it's hard. But they do want to meet with me when I get back. But I say, get the economy open, and we'll meet. I'll meet, and we'll solve any difficulties. We have to fix healthcare, because Obamacare is a disaster. I mean, when you see the increases in Obamacare, it never worked, it never will work, and we can do something with the Democrats much better than Obamacare.
And I think it's a great time for the Republicans and Democrats to get together and make something that will work, and let the insurance companies make money. They're entitled to that, but not the kind of money that they're making.